Oops, okay. Actually, I do wonder about that. All right. Now, for this lesson, we're going to be talking about imaginary numbers. And remember, just a quick fact about what an imaginary number is. It's just the square root of -1. Like, because that's not even possible. So it's an imaginary number. Okay? With that said, that's your little intro. Remember, -1, blah, blah, blah. Blah. What we're going to do is 3 types of questions to jog your memory on imaginary numbers. First thing before we get started is just you have to have this written down. I1, I2, I3, I4. I1 is equal to I2 is equal to -1, I3 is -I, and I4 is 1. A way to remember this, remember, is I1, 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 positive, negative, negative, positive. I1, I1, positive, negative, negative, positive. Memorize it. Okay, if you know these, you could solve any question. Now, what we're going to do is take a look. What is I to the 5th equivalent to? All right. Now, if you remember, this is a repeating pattern. So it just keeps going like this every time. So I1, -1, I, 1, and this is just going to repeat on and on forever. So the way to figure out higher numbers of I, this is what you have to do. You just take the 5, which is that. We take 5. All right. We divide that by 4. All right, and we just look at the remainder. Okay, so it goes in one time, but what's the remainder? Okay, well, 4 goes in one time with a remainder of 1. Okay, so we just take that remainder, whatever that is, and this would be equal to I to the 1st power. Okay, because the remainder is 1, which means that this is just equal to I. All right, so just to jog your memory about that, you just take whatever the exponent is, divide it always by 4. All right, always divide it by 4. Look at your remainder, and that's what your I is. So I to the 1st power is just I. So I to the 6 will do the same thing. It's 6 divided by 4. Once again, it goes in one time, but we just care about the remainder. It has a remainder of 2. Okay? 6 minus 4 is 2. Just remember. So this is the same thing as I to the 2nd, okay? Which is equal to -1. Okay? So I to the 6 is the same thing as -1. And this works for the rest of them. Alright, these guys, how do you simplify these? Well, this is the same thing as simplifying radicals. You already know how to do this, but you just start with taking out I. That's what gets this 9 out. Alright? So this just becomes I square root 9. Then we simplify this like we always do. So this is just 3 times 3. 2 of them takes to get out, so they're able to get out. So this just becomes 3 times I, which is just 3I. Right? One of them came out. So it's just 3I. This one, same thing. We'll take I out, okay? Because I is the same thing as -1. So we get this guy out. This becomes I 98. We work our little magic. So this is, let's see, that's 49 times 2, which is 7 times 7. We got 2 7s that come out. He gets out of jail, so this gets a 7I is out of jail with a 2 stuck inside. So it's the same way as simplifying before, but to get that negative out, we just take out an I to get it started off. Just get that I out, you're good to go. Finally, we're going to talk about adding and subtracting complex numbers. This is just adding like terms, okay? But I think what we're forgetting a lot of times is that how to do adding like terms when you have a minus sign in the middle. Well, this is like having a -1. So before you get started, I want you to distribute the negative to both of these, if it's a negative. All right? So this is the same thing as 9 minus 4I, okay, minus 2 plus 4I. All right? Just distribute that negative. It's a good way to get started. Once you have that, well, you just start combining like terms. So this is 9 and -2. We can combine those. And then we could also combine -4I and positive 4I. All right? Well, 9 plus -2 gives us 7. -4I plus positive 4I is just 0. So this just simplifies to 7. And that's how it's done, guys. Yeah, I got to tell you, that was a lot of fun for me. I don't know how you felt about it, but I actually had a great time. So, maybe math's fun, right? Right? Who's with me? Who's with me? No, really, who's with me? I said who's with me? Thanks.